And here we are, and here we go. As usual, it is 16, nearly 16 Central European time. As usual, you see two kid-like faces, and you see a lot of games today. Logically, I'm always looking at the wrong side. There he is. This is Dominic. I'm casting with, as usual, today.
Hello.
You're
I
looking
don't
good. You're
know.
looking good. I really like your shirt, man. It is really
Thanks a lot.
cringy when you look over like this and you're not really there. It's really horribly weird.
Yeah,
But
you feel
anyway,
cringy, but the people on the stream don't really see
yeah,
it that
they don't
horribly,
know
I
it.
guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. But anyway, we're seeing something I did not know, and I did a little mistake. FTW versus WiseWizards, first of all. And WiseWizards, German team, we had that from the start. But FTW have three Germans in the squad. Define GG as one of the Swedes. And we have a great national mix there. So basically, this is a very, very German game we're going to see today.
Yeah, definitely. And FTW, they have a Portuguese team in League of Legends that's actually Portuguese, so maybe that's where the flag is from. And here in CS:GO, we'll see. We'll see how that lineup does. And in my opinion, like overall, as we were talking about this group yesterday, it is going to probably be gameplay DNA reaching out for the victories. Most of all, right here is going to be Zoctai also fighting for it. But FTW versus WiseWizards Academy, definitely looking forward to them trying to get a shot at taking down possibly one of the Titans in this group. That would be interesting, because why not, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. What is more like interesting to see this guy? One of the known guys here from Wise Wizards is Jin. Bahadir Dilbash is his name. He's from Turkey, but he's a German. And he played at My Revenge back in the day. He played at Dot Pixels, played for the Turkish national team back in 2014. So I think personally, this is not really one of those guys where you have to massively take a look, but he comes in with a lot of experience, and he comes into this game with knowing how to play, knowing logically how to perform. About the others, Wise Wizards guy, unfortunately, we don't know much. I mean, we have two Austrians, two Germans, and Jin in the end. So that lineup might surprise us. I mean, throughout the last 2 days, excuse me, what we have seen is basically not always explainable.
Yeah, and talking about the team of WiseWizards Academy right here, the expected lineup just a couple of days ago when I was taking a look at them included Rax and some other quite good German players that definitely aren't so unknown. But yeah, as you say, Jin is the one that's left right here from the ones that actually have some info on. And he might indeed give that huge package of experience over to his team. And that might be
Mm,
the thing that tips them over in the matchup against FTW. Against FTW, though, there's still some young blood right there on the other side, and these guys
yeah.
will definitely have the will to fight. But how is it gonna work? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. I'm really, really not that secure if this will work out or not, but this is our game number one. We're going to see that in just a bit. Our number two, though, is like you couldn't even get two nations mixed up that don't have less to do with professional CS than here Norwegians and Lithuanians. Might sound a little bit harsh, but in the real big pro scene, you don't see them that often. But thankfully, we're seeing them right here. And that is something really, really favorable. So, your opinion on Zoctai versus Gameplay DNA?
Darktide versus Gameplay DNA. Man, overall, Gameplay DNA is quite a big name out there in Lithuania, and these guys have been a lot for a bit of time. Although once again, the team changes just happening all over the place, and it's not what it's been in the past. Overall, looking at the past groups that we had this far, Group A, Group B, like just looking at the names, you would be able to already say, hey, this is quite a big organization. They should have a good team and they should do well, but that's not really been the case for the most part. And I think that maybe Zoctai have a shot. And I definitely realize who Enix is from Norway right there. But all the other guys to me are at least new. They're a first timer, and
Yeah.
yeah, possibly Enix is gonna be that same guy for them as Jin for WiseWizards in the first match.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, the last match we have seen from those guys from Zoktai was against Red Reserve, that team that recently lost there at the GeForce Cup in Poland. And what we got to say about that is this is their first match they did in 2017. Before then, they played against a team called Astana Dragons. And that lineup was also Norwegian, but it played in 2013. So, yeah, let's say we don't have much representative info at this point. We don't have much representative kind of place to say, yeah, they're so good, they're so well known in the scene. But I mean, Enix is kind of known for the Norwegians. He played for a while now. He plays at Zoktai for not too far away. He played at Epiphany Bolt. We had about them not too long ago,
Yep.
and he played about Lions. So I just mean the chances are there for the second one to come an upset. But I see Gameplay DNA as a favorite in the entire group for the entire day.
Okay, and of course they will definitely want to defend that title of being the favorite. As yesterday playing Ducks, it was the same pretty much for the guys from the same nation, and they just dominated. They slapped everybody down, whoever wanted to challenge them. So that wasn't a problem. And is it also gonna be like so smooth for Gameplay DNA? Or do you expect them to struggle like possibly UX in their second game against Arctic, where it ended up being 16-14?
No, I just mean that thing from UX was, I think the problem they had was their stamina ran out. Five best of ones in a row. This is pretty much 2 best of 3s, one put to the maximum map. So that's just tough. That's just hard, and you don't really have some major breaks. You can't really rest. You can't just go take your deserved food break, your deserved drink break, whatever you want to do in that time. Maybe you want to play with a fidget spinner. What do I know? But in the end, what really brings you down is when you play so long, and this hurts. And you have seen it. Yesterday was against Arctic. They first matched 16-3 on cash. Then they struggled the map afterwards. So I think you can see if the maps, if it will continue like this, which it won't, because we won't have that technical problem like yesterday, it could become worse for Gameplay. But I don't think so.
Yeah, so hopefully these guys will do fine. Hopefully they'll hold off, and hopefully we won't have any issues with the teams. Most importantly, because technical stuff happens sometimes, and it's just not dependent on us really. Any kind of stuff is in your room can break down at any given moment. But when you have these teams, and some of them have to get kicked out because of some investigations and like suspicions about them cheating, that's real sad, because that shouldn't necessarily be happening in like a fair competition. And overall, I don't know, I just don't like it. Ever since like the first big event with Kaylee Cott's cheating, it's become such a big thing in Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Like everybody suspects everyone of cheating, so it's just sad.
But that's just somehow how the community works. Like everyone says this pro player is cheating and this pro player is cheating. Crisp Clean Lock Boys, oh, take a look, he made a flick with somehow going 180 degrees, and he's a hacker. I personally, this is a community thing where everyone blatantly says, oh, he's cheating, he's hacking. And I don't know how often you did it when we play on Smurf games, and you're not hacking, but players call you a hacker. This is pretty much the same thing. This happens so often. It's horrible, it's sad, but this is sometimes how it is. I mean, we gotta deal with it. You gotta deal with everyone in the community if you want to keep it in one piece and alive. But hopefully, and I'm quite sure this won't happen today, especially with FTW and WiseWizards Academy.
Okay, that's what you trust, and I'm definitely gonna go ahead and agree with you on that. I would definitely want to look at how WiseWizards Academy will do in this first match of the day. Because it's just, I don't know why, but these academies intrigue me quite a bit. It's not even such an established thing in Counter-Strike yet. I feel like the academy started coming to life recently still. I mean, since Counter-Strike is like 15 years old, it's not such a big thing if it's just started like 1 year ago. And you can even see some academies for teams that aren't so high up in the scene. For instance, when you see Fnatic Academy and stuff, you are thinking, hey, that's quite considerable, and actually the team, the organization has enough resources to actually offer a lot to that academy. I mean, then it can be a true academy because, in my opinion, it is that word like describes a team that's going to learn, that's going to grow and stuff like that. So they have to have some learning material, in my opinion. For WiseWizards, do they really like need to have an academy, or is it just like an A and B team kind of situation in here, or
Yeah,
what
but
it
then it's a
is?
term thing, right? If it's an A and B team, then it's just a term thing. So that doesn't really matter. I see your point. Because recently, you should know about it, especially the CIS minor that will be played there for the Krakow major that has Spirit and Spirit Academy. And there always be the conflict, or if they just play against each other and the organization says, okay, we want our main Spirit team logically in the major, then they say, okay, Force for Fate, Match Fix, whatever. And this is where it gets problematic. We had that in the Chinese scene. I think there was Vici Gaming that had an academy team, and that default forfeited against the main team.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so that's quite bad. That's quite bad, and it could create some problems like we had yesterday, with a little bit different of a nature. But yeah, that's sometimes what goes in these tournaments. So, however, we don't have the main WiseWizards team right here, so there's no risk of that happening in the Legend series. But yeah, it's something to talk about. I mean, I am not too sure if a lot of people like talked about academies and the purpose and the sense in the pure existence of them.
Yeah, I see your point. I mean, but it is a little bit like a junior thing. Like you have your junior team. Like in classic football, you have your talented upcomers. I think that is sometimes helpful. As far as I know, for Fnatic Academy, both Swedish players with Turkish origin are pretty much already getting traded over to another team or are free agents very soon. So it seems like a temporary trend somehow. Like this is the fidget spinner of organizations. They just spin, have a little bit of fun, and suddenly everyone gets instantly disbanded. So it's kind of sad to see on the one hand, but I mean, wasn't it also no, that was another one. I mixed up 1337 and Spartak Moscow, but yeah, it's a definite nice thing. It's okay. It's okay. I say yeah.
Yeah, and overall, looking at the lineup of the WiseWizards Academy that is right here in our tournament, maybe sometimes it can be for organizations something to come up with on the spot, because they've got Jin from the main roster, and maybe they like wanted to take part in the tournament, but some of the main team's players didn't really want to, so they create a mix, called it an academy to like still keep it inside of the organization, but with a little tweak, with something like completely random on the spur of the moment.
Do you remember what I said yesterday about German teams and cash?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And what do you figure
Take a
now,
guess.
since we've got like two pre-German teams here?
It is pretty much, we're playing cash, so this is the first thing, and we have 8 Germans on the server. Basically, this is why I see. Why shouldn't you go for it? Unfortunately, I don't know who is the IGL in FTW. We could take a look at that, but that would be interesting to know, because then we could know if it's a German IGL, then it would make a lot of more sense. But unfortunately, the map pick situation isn't really clear to us, as the teams didn't play recently a lot. So that's the thing. But we will know a lot more about those guys from Gameplay DNA. But FTW Esports, I mean, that kind of mix will show us how it will go, and we're going to find out very soon. It's actually a Portuguese organization, but it is surrounded with that Swedish streamer known Define GG, and yeah, we're going to find out. We're going to find out how it will go. I think ELC is a great platform for such teams to gain some, gain some audience, gain some fans, gain some experience.
Yeah, and it's always nice when they get a little bit of recognition, because we might have an upcoming team to actually get some money even for themselves if they are good enough. Like we had Legends, possibly with not a lot of people believing in them, but they got the second place in the group. They surprised us massively, and they even came to the LAN because Trick couldn't really, so they gave up this spot over to Legends. So we might have another team like that in this tournament. Who knows? Anyway, though, I'm quite happy that some of these teams are able to get the exposure, and some of these teams are able to get through the qualifiers. Because on the first Legends
Yeah.
series, we had like a lot of teams in the qualifiers. I think we had
Ah,
like 2 qualifiers with 256 teams in total
yeah.
participating, but like twice or even 3 times as many signing up trying to fight for these places, but there was not enough space for them to play even. So yeah, like beating so many teams in these qualifiers and getting that one single spot in your group, that's nice.
That helps. That's nice. And here we are. Here we go with our first match. It's going to be WiseWizards Academy versus FTW Esports. Auf geht's, Jungs, like the Germans will have to say to themselves. And we're starting up with the classic knife round, where we have seen it can decide a lot in those best of ones. And here it becomes the classic stabbing. Only 2 more alive. Define is taken down. Butter has the chance. But the Germans, they make a classic knife fight. 1-0 for the WiseWizards in the knife round. And now the pick could become interesting.
Oh, come on. So, usually the matches started instantly after the pistol round, but this time we get to see a tiny bit of a pause right here, just so the teams decide where they want to go. But it's gonna be a pause even after choosing the side, interestingly enough. And you have to remember that in this system, it's gonna be quite hard to call in for another pause. As you only get 1 per half, and it lasts 5 minutes, so it's plenty time to fix everything and talk about a lot of stuff. But then if you just wanna, I don't know, like plug in your headphones or whatever, and you have to take a pause for that, you have to be aware that there's not going to be another one and might be problematic later.
Yeah, that might be problematic later, but let's find out how problematic it will be for these teams. I mean, we have seen not too many technical breaks. And yeah, so let's take a look how this will work out for both of the guys. Everyone is connected. And what's interesting, reaction, he has a profile picture from Blue Jays, which is a German organization. Also some kind of mid-tier CS. Not that known, not that great, but still doing work there in the scene. I think they were more known back in CSS. And yeah, that Blue Jays lineup consists of him, with him. And this is the point where we're going to find out how the reaction and his team will show us which way they can go.
Yeah, definitely another team from Germany out there that is somewhat recognizable. So definitely nice to see a lot of these Germans actually taking part in these Legend series, because in the first one we had only 2. And right now we've got Planet Key.
Three.
That's the favorite 3. Or what was the third one?
Yeah, it was Ironics, Planet Key, and Legends. So yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah, this time though we have like 3 with the German flag already, and now we're finding out with each day that there are even more Germans taking part in the tournament. So yeah, they're surfacing. They're taking over.
They pretty much are taking over in that German tournament. And look, this is a way you can also. That sounds harsh, but waste your break. Jin has some kind of problem with his PC, with his server. We don't know about that yet. But, yeah, Robin Hood says start anti-cheat. Yeah, probably right about that. But anyway, what is interesting if you just joined in, and if you're one of those guys who thinks, what is this all about? The Legend Series offers the winner of this group to come to the LAN finals in Hamburg, Seek. So, first of all, if you want to go to a sick and great LAN, then go to Seek. That is the first thing. You can find all the information underneath below. And what's also great, you have some kind of currency in the chat called baddies. And with those baddies, you can take part in our giveaway. So don't worry. You'll be rewarded for watching, besides logically rewarded with great CS and lovely looking youngsters who try to speak English when they're not fluent. You know, native guys, but doesn't matter. This is another thing. That's another thing. We're getting into our game in just a second as we're waiting for just the Turkish-German player, Jin, to connect. And you didn't really give me a prediction on this one.
And okay, I was about to say that I'm not going to give you one, but I think it's going to be WiseWizards taking this map. But what kind of a scoreline? It's hard to tell because really FTW could be as much of a surprise as Pug Stars, but then I feel like it's quite bad to say since the team got disqualified, so you cannot necessarily trust that being their skill. The match where they'd beaten UX. But overall, I think it's going to be WiseWizards. I would normally say that it's going to be one-sided, but I've seen how the Legend Series #1 have been in Counter-Strike. I've seen how it's gone in League of Legends, and these surprises are not so hard to get, so we can definitely expect a little bit of a show offered to us by FTW, and they're kicking off.
Yeah, they're kicking off right now. We see already Jin starting there in the CT spawn a little bit slow. Seems like technical difficulties are still there, but there's already a good thing. Robin Hood is getting point. Finds another one onto reaction, and it's the first player FTW down, one of the non-Germans. And now Jin needs to react. He could have just made the shot, but he rather threw a flashbang there onto the side. Two players of WiseWizards decided to go for a kit, and that logically brings him into a scenario to not having armor. Paddy and Jin against 4.
MXO there, he had an amazing position, but wasn't really able to get anything done right there because he was sitting right inside of a smoke. And the enemies were able to bring him down as soon as the smoke started to settle down. And FTW, these guys are actually going to take the pistol round. Robin Hood getting a quad kill combined, which is quite a bit. And it was just after I said that WiseWizards should be the ones with the upper hand. However, then on the other side, you still have to take into account that Jin might still have these problems, as you mentioned, and he might not be as much into the game as he would like to be. So it might just be getting better with each round. But for now, it is FTW who have the upper hand, and there we go.
Yeah. I mean, with FPS, CS came out in 2012, has not the most beautiful graphics, but it sounds harsh, but Counter-Strike Global Offensive is a bitch when it comes to graphic settings in FPS sometimes. Sounds, you know, it's not really a nice thing to say, but yeah, even pros sometimes suffer. I mean, we just had one game in the professional minor scene that fully got cancelled because of that PC problem that we're having. So Counter-Strike could behave sometimes a little bit better, but now it's about WiseWizards to behave better in that pistol forcer. Having MML check that, definitely realized, and now it's just about him to not do a mistake, and he retreats. Exactly what he needed to do, because being found out in a spray through middle is nothing you want to have. Jin, though, look at his position.
Well, Islando still finding the frag. And we had a similar situation from the Lithuanian team playing Ducks yesterday, I feel like, when they were playing on Inferno. It was the last match of the day. One CT has gone all the way down through Banana towards the tree. Yeah. And, well, he succeeded right there. But here, it didn't work out for Jin.
Yeah, that's sometimes the way you learn. And as we're seeing right now, WiseWizards Academy, logically, down 2 points. And, yeah. That economy doesn't really speak for them. I mean, they try to earn some... and there, look, now the realization sets in. Here it goes. Thankfully, Point Duck is so kind. And let's take a look what it is. MNL disconnects. Okay, yeah, MNL has some kind of connectivity problem. It does not really, let's say, start so sufficient for those guys from WiseWizards. It's not really satisfying for them.
Yeah. And now the bigger problems are going to start, because if anything else goes wrong, they're not going to be able to pause so easily. I mean, as I mentioned yesterday, there is a different command to pause when you want to go for a tactical pause, excuse me, because the one they're using right now is it's supposed to be a tactical one. But I don't remember that because I've not casted a game hosted on Challenge Me for now half a year. It's great to be back here, but I have to remind myself what the command for the pause is.
Yeah, and if you don't actually know what Challenge Me is all about, Challenge Me is our server provider right here, thankfully. And, you know, when you're just not one to play matchmaking, which I can fully understand, you can go and play some 1v1s, 2v2s, 5v5s, all that stuff at Challenge Me, and you can win tickets. And with those tickets, you can go for raffles. So you can win CSGO gloves, you can win equipment, you can win skins all the way. So if you ever felt like your inventory needs some enhancement, your inventory is looking a little bit lame like mine, then you should definitely go for Challenge Me, play some games, maybe lose. I mean, if you play against me, I think I have something like a 70% win rate out of 200 games. So playing against me is not the best thing, but playing against logically Dominic, that would be a success for you.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but probably you're just smurfing against silvers, and that's why you keep your
You want to
win rate
1v1 me on land?
somewhat high. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, we're talking about that in the future. I mean, no, I can't do that one. But yeah, we're seeing round number 3 still has the break. He just came back on TeamSpeak, so should be happy and back in a second. Yeah,
but we're going down
nice
to like
see.
half the time allowed for each pause. Like when WiseWizards first took a pause, it was like 60 seconds remaining. Now we already have around 150. So they are exhausting that pause time to a very, very nice extent right there. And usually this powering group A and B, when we had pauses, they lasted like max 60 seconds and everybody was ready. And they were mostly just used as tactical pauses like they are supposed to. And we didn't have so many technical difficulties. So it finally was bound to happen. But at the end of the day, I'm quite happy that we didn't have so many of these issues like in the past days.
Yeah, pretty much summing it up right here. We're back, and we're at it with once more FTW just going in with a great buy. We see the UMP onto them. We see also the great, nice, and tiny Mac 10. I mean, the Butter Cake can do a lot with that gun if he wants to. Just go close range, play a classic German gangster style thing, and then you're good to go. And it's WiseWizards who will definitely struggle. In this one, MNL got himself a flashbang secured, but this is nothing really you can work with. A full stack, this is what we're seeing right now onto the B side, and a full failure as the prediction goes horribly wrong. It will be a safe 3-0 for FTW, and the only thing the Germans here from Wise can do is hunt down as much as possible.
Okay. A little bit of money is always good to get for FTW because they definitely have to brace themselves for the next round that's about to come. WiseWizards, as I mentioned, they're not gonna be a team so easy to take down. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't activate the client, the Challenge Me GG client, which prevents teams from cheating. Still, that happens sometimes. As we see, Robin Hood finds the first one. He is that guy who takes care that the poor ones in FTW don't suffer too massively from the big capitalism WiseWizards started to bring up. They don't really have money on the board, so that doesn't count. Reaction, the Blue Jay player is the only one alive and won't find anything this moment.
Yeah, might still find another bullet to his head, but down to 14 HP, he will survive, actually. Which is quite lucky for him, we definitely have to say. But what is not lucky for WiseWizards is that we once again lose a player from their team. They're not even trying to pause, interestingly enough, additionally. And they're just going to deal with it.
Yes, and as we see, flames are raining into onto reaction. They're only playing with 4 as they cannot take a break anymore. That is really harsh here for those guys from WiseWizards. It's just sad to say it like that. I mean, this is their academy team. The players were young, not that known, have possibilities to maybe show up right here. But so far, we have seen that the loser in Group A in the first match, I mean, Isuba lost 16-8 to UKCS, HLTV's biggest joke regarding CSGO. But, the first game lost, and now Isuba, they're in it. They're in the finals in Hamburg, so let's see if that will happen. Here comes the first one, Jin. Oh, he gets burned alive. Did not realize what's up, and that is the Turkish-German player being taken down. 60 seconds we have left.
No. Alexio, PDY, saving up the weapons, running away, chickening out. Okay, maybe I exaggerated with the chickening out, because what else are they supposed to do? But it's just so tough, and again, just after I mentioned that probably WiseWizards should be the favorites walking into this matchup, they lost the first round. Then, before that, they actually had some technical issues, and right after, they instantly had some more. Now, I said how important that full buy is going to be, how FTW have to be really careful not to lose it, not to just get completely broke right now. And WiseWizards are just not doing fine at all. And what's going to happen next?
No. A frack is happening next, and now we see Orlando takes down the last survivor, lone survivor off the WiseWizards side. He's actually that addition from FTW, which is, interestingly enough, from Hungary. So we have, if you didn't know, in FTW, a Portuguese organization with 3 Germans, a Swede, and also a guy from Hungary. A great mixture once more. I mean, yesterday was already really interesting to see, and now we're going to find out how this international lineup performed, but starting really good so far. The 3 Germans lead the way. Define pretty much on the bottom there with Butter K, and now he comes. Now he comes around the corner, and the wall comes reaction with a headshot.
Oh, not too bad pistol work this far, but yeah, these 2 kills are still not enough to secure them around. However, Jin's AK-47 might be, but not in this one apparently, as he's not even going to try to make the effort of retaking the bomb site A. And in my opinion, once again, it's just the right way to go. It's just better not to lose his life for nothing. But I feel like Robin Hood might have caught a glimpse of him already, and yeah, he's just going to get the kill. Oh, they cannot even save that AK. And when finally they ran out of possibilities for something to break down for them, so they should be getting going, they're going to once again struggle a little bit economically. Although another fall buy is coming, and hopefully this is the one when they start to fix the mistakes from the very beginning.
It's just about that right now. Mid control being aggressively taken here by Reaction together with MNL. We see 3 players that are quite close to highway, and now MNL tries to see something through that tiny gap, changes his position a little bit to get a view onto the boost, but stays safe because that peek could cost his hat in a matter of seconds. PDY takes an aggressive angle and does not find anything from that. Other Reaction is there to get a refrag onto Robin Hood, and now middle is being taken control by the Austrian player. 2K from Reaction so far, and he finally does some work for the WiseWizards.
That's gonna be another good kill for WiseWizards, and they just need to finish off Point Dog and Lando. They're not any kind of close to getting into one of the sites. They do have the bomb on their backs, but it's not really going to give them anything. Oh, good shot from Lando, good shot from Point Dog. All of a sudden, we've got a 2v2. But as I mentioned, they're not any kind of close to any bomb site. And there's one guy on A, one guy on B. Both of these guys can be extremely lethal. They're going to have some good positions ready, so that WiseWizards, so that FTW don't know where to look for them. And the time is just running out. 30 seconds remaining.
And there's the consideration to go for a safe, but that would be quite unnecessary. Only Jin is alive in this moment. Take a look how he stands. I mean, he has an interesting angle. He needs to peek out of this as soon as possible. And you heard that vent. Rotation should come in from Mixo, and there it comes. Oh no, and Lando finds him, gets a beautiful op shot, but a very simple one onto Jin. 2 versus 1. And now it gets problematic for the WiseWizards player. And now it gets problematic for Mixo, who did not really perform so far. He had some technical difficulties. Retake against an AWP and an AK.
I don't see that happening. Maxio, though, is running in, and he's got an incendiary, so he could use that to eliminate one possibility, one position. But he's not doing that. Well, maybe forcing the enemies to think that he's not even there yet, but he got spotted out. And, well, even Lando is able to get that kill. As the molly I was talking about has blown straight at him. Still didn't do anything.
Yeah. And I see once more a repetitive pattern. I feel like 60 or 70% of our matches just went 7-8-0 quite early on. And then the enemy team tried to come up back with something, but we've never seen a big comeback. Except yesterday against a disqualified team. Anyway, pistols are only on to Wise, and now it's up to them to perform some wizard-like magical performance. But first of all, it doesn't look like that with that buy reaction down to 49, back onto the site, stays there for headshot, needs to do some deagle magic, but no, this is not happening as he's been taken down. And once more we have a disconnect on the side of WiseWizards. Butter K, something going on with him. Ah no, excuse me, Jin. Jin has a problem, sorry.
How can that still happen even? That's really bad, though, yeah, sometimes it's just how it is. And sometimes we would be sitting through all that with a pause screen on our faces for half an hour. So I don't want to say that, but maybe it is quite fortunate that we don't get more passes for the teams because we wouldn't be seeing the game at all, I guess.
Yeah, this is where it ruins a little bit of the dynamics as we are talking about it. Oh, nice one from MNL. I mean, for the aesthetics, I mean, for the board to say, yeah, for the frag movies, that was a nice one. But statistically speaking, and also for the entire game sense, we're not getting anything seen by WiseWizards. Not capable of connecting anything. Maybe there's going to be Mixo. Okay, he's getting to maybe the third. Let's see if he does something nice to his team. No. Oh god, it's even the explosion taking him down, and Lando barely survives. With that kind of luck, you don't even need to play the game.
Interesting, real interesting, but yeah, also just adding to what I just said a second ago, on the other hand, when we're seeing a game that's so one-sided, because probably all of these disconnects and also probably isn't a good option, but you're not going to have a good option at all in a match like this. Anyway, yeah, it is sad, but then just take a look at how much of a chance it is to FTW. These guys are up 7-0. And we didn't trust in them at all, I think.
Yeah, but it tilts you a lot. It tilts you a lot when you're just realizing, okay, we're losing, but then you're just losing a player unnecessarily. Then there's one less, and you have to play 4v5 as the defender. There it just gets more problematic, but we're seeing MNL on the total other side of the map. He finds ButterK, and this is one German player less on the board for FTW. Could be the right entry, but basically, what WiseWizards did here was equalization. Not even getting ahead, not even finding that super important big fragger onto FTW. It's just a 4v4. Nothing basically has changed.
That's a good point right there for you, definitely. But maybe MXO is going to change something with a good position, but not so good of a spray down. And Point Dog has an amazing spray down. He transferred his crossfire over to the other guy and just continued getting another kill. Right here, Point Dog is going to have a little bit of problems, a little bit of trouble staying alive. And the fine in a 1v2. Can he actually do something right here? I got to know him, casting with him a couple of years ago, I feel like it was already. But right now, I'm the one casting him play. And, yeah, MNL is actually going to win it. But wasn't so bad. It's still one kill taken by MNL. What is he doing? Okay, he's just exhausting the time so that Jin can come back at least, like, you know.
But so now he says, Mixo says this will probably be a 45, and ButterK says, MNL, you're my final enemy, you're my nemesis pretty much, and that is just quite sad right here for WiseWizards to play that 4 versus 5, because maybe that was the good one, maybe that was the lucky one, but FTW shouldn't let this getting slapped out of their hand when it's WiseWizards with one player less. Not even the bots they're getting. I mean, that would have been hilarious. Define with a beautiful headshot onto MNL. This is a way to start off a round in the first 15 seconds. And the admin is down. Take a look.
Okay, that's good. That's nice. It's good to see. Now we're gonna get something fixed right here to find out. Previously, he lost the round to MNL just a couple of seconds ago. Now he's gonna beat him down so impressively at the very beginning. It's good to see. And 8-1. Finally, we do get a pause, and then we will try to figure out the problems with Jin. As there are some means of communication now also told to the admin and stuff like that. So that's cool.
Yeah, and I think this is the point where we have to thank Challenge Me GG to take care of that. To sell out once more, because I love selling out. I mean, I could be also... Do you know those long television advertisements where they sell unnecessary household stuff you never need, actually? Do you know that? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Telecommercial?
I don't know where you're going yet.
I think I could be doing that. Yeah, I'm just... I want to say, if you've never tried out Challenge Me GG, this is your kind of thing, because you can play 1v1s, 2v2s, or 5v5s 24/7 at Challenge Me GG. Try the daily tournaments to win tickets, coins, and much more. You can also play for real money and beat your opponents all the time. Show what you got at Challenge Me GG. You see what I mean?
Hey, that's not bad. It actually had a good structure.
It was not bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
But now we also need like a cover on the screen to like show it
Production,
on a
can
single
we
graphic.
just get a picture of Challenge VGG?
Yeah,
Can we repeat
our
that?
Photoshop guy quickly like assemble it all? So yeah, for now we are sitting out
Sad.
through a little bit of a pause where Jin has to figure out what's going on and come back into the game to give it another shot. But
Can we
overall, they
just
don't
zoom
have a
in
lot of
into the
money.
logo? Sorry, excuse me, I didn't want to interrupt. My fault. Can we just like 5
Yeah,
million
no
percent
problem.
zoom into Challenge V logo? That would be hilarious.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
enough with
during
that.
during you talking about that, it would start the zoom, and when you finish talking, it's like on the entire screen.
Yeah, it's normal.
That would be nice.
Mm,
That would be amazing.
that would be nice.
Yeah, but anyway, coming back to the topic, there is very little money on WiseWizards. Even when Jin comes back, it's going to be problematic for them to bounce back with a score like this. And then that makes me start to wonder if there's a possibility to like set it back a little bit until to the moment where the big problems like started, to where Jin was actually kicked from the server because the singular rounds where they lost because MXO was not there, if I'm not mistaken. And the one time in the very beginning where a couple of seconds were lost by Jin, they don't matter so much. But then these, let me see. Okay, we cannot see when he was actually kicked. But like 4 rounds or 5 rounds with 1 man absence, in my opinion, is a little bit out of place.
Yeah, fully right. I mean, the question is, how long will WiseWizards also have this pause? Like, how long will the admin say, yeah, you can go for it, you can do it? Because this is kind of unfortunate for them, and this won't go for an eternity. Those breaks are, for the viewers and for everyone else, a little bit annoying sometimes, but that happens. Don't pee push. You know, unfortunately, we can't read the chat there on stream, but it's a really deep talk.
Mm-hmm. As you're saying, the deep one? Okay.
Yeah, deep one, a deep kind of conversation. I mean, they talk about existence.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, talking about that, I actually sat through quite deep conversations in Counter-Strike matches already. Because sometimes when you get like a longer pause, teams just don't bother talking to each other too much. Maybe they just relax. Maybe they take a moment to watch some YouTube video, or maybe they're just keeping themselves focused on the game. And when the pause is over, they're gonna be just as good or even better than they were before. And yeah, some teams just take the time to talk, and that was real interesting to see some people talk about life, girlfriends, stuff like that, traveling, and everything else right there. For instance, you've got Tapson, and he tends to talk with some other people, and I think that he knows a little bit of Polish, so when he was facing up against Polish teams, the Poles would always like talk to him in our language, and he would reply. He actually creates like nice constructed sentences, so it's surprising to see. But yeah,
he's
you've got
Polish.
Of these funny, yeah. So you've got
Polish
some
origin,
of these
yeah.
funny guys, and you've got some people that are just like the grumpy cats of Counter-Strike, I would say.
I mean, Johannes Wodarts must go down your throat like it would be a beautiful Polish name, isn't it? Yeah. Doesn't that sound like... I mean, I couldn't imagine anything... I could imagine more Polish names, of course, but I mean... that does already good. I mean, with his 20 years, he's doing good work there at Big. And I heard from a lot of guys, also from managers, that he's a really kind and nice guy. He's a really good teacher of the UMP 45. So if you ever thought about hitting up your personal UMP 45 teacher, then it will definitely be those nice guys from Big, and especially Tapson. But as we see right now, there seems to be the unpause happening, and we're good to go to get back to it. Jin is coming back in a minute, as it seems, but the break needs to be stopped because we can't do it forever.
Okay, yeah, that's weird that they're kicking off again without him, and he actually dies when he joins because, you know, the round's already started. Sad to see. Anyway, though, it's going to be 9-1 in favor of FTW. Lando actually goes for a team kill, no idea why. And I did not actually see that myself because I was flying around the map with the camera for some reason. But yeah, MXO all alone, last man standing. That's going to be 91 for sure. And what I wanted to say, yeah, something more important, that Jin joining back for this round would not be so important, I guess, because it's still an eco round, right? So they would still get obliterated just like they did.
But the good thing about Jin being not there is that he pretty much played Fang during that time. He said, okay, I'm gone for a bit, but I will definitely be your bank for the moment. I will have all the great money stored. And take a look at this. In general, the buy of WiseWizards would have not been good at all. But right now, this helps them out a lot. As he was not AFK, he was disconnected, but he still gets some money, right? And there, WiseWizards might still have an entry chance.
Uh-huh. Well, there we go. Some grenades flying in. Reaction with a questionable position, but I feel like it could have been good, but then he was completely blinded by the flashbang and the enemies expected him right there. Now, PDY is going to get a kill. And they've got also MNL right there in the middle. So WiseWizards putting a lot of people in here and miss a smoke. But never mind. Anyway, the enemies might think that he is a missed smoke, but possibly it's just to cover up that MNL guy. That's right next to the hangar entrance. But there we go. A nice tinkle towards Lando. Down to 11 HP. It's going to be a little bit easier to finish him off. And yep, indeed, Buttercade never had an idea that somebody might be behind that smoke. And that's because they'd already seen so many people in the middle. So, yeah. It had to be surprising. Now, Lando down to 11 HP, 2v3. It's tough.
Yeah, but what I like a lot right now, how WiseWizards is smart enough to not directly go for aggression in this moment, because those two players, Petty and Mixer, could have just stayed there for the A site or for Highway, but they moved there into that A main section. Doesn't help them out the slightest bit, as Point Ducks makes his way through. And in total, we have 9 and 11 HP, 20 on every... No, in total onto FTW's Esports. But Lando needs to hit his shots. Doesn't happen with the first one. And Point Duck... No, that was unfortunate. But WiseWizards get the second. And finally, we can go. And finally, we can see once more the fully German team might coming back with something.
Yeah, and it would be funny to see... Alright, it was a little bit too close still to say that, but it would be funny if we get to see WiseWizards like making a complete comeback and the match ending with like 16-11 scoreline. And WiseWizards actually proving that FTW never had a chance from the starts, but they are losing only because of the technical difficulties. But I don't think that will happen. FTW are quite good, and WiseWizards had 2 rounds this far where I feel like they've been 100% in. That was this one that we just saw, and that was one of the first rounds, like the round number 3 or round number 5. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, on these rounds, FTW on both of them were close. I mean, you still probably remember the clutch from Point Duck getting a nice spray down and Lando also helping out.
The problem at this point right now is how the B side has been taken down so early. Jin couldn't do anything. And B-side is so hard to retake as the choke points are so narrow. You have 3, more likely 4 ways to enter. And we see right now WiseWizards can only choose 2. Lando does not land his shot, and there it gets problematic for his team. But we have Buttercade on the side, together with Defiant, are taking down one after another. And once more, WiseWizards, the sour apple is directly in front of them. And they gotta bite into it, as it is 10-2. Double digits already onto FTW.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was talking about right there. FTW are not the ones to go down so easily in here, and 10-2 is quite a scary scoreline to see. And I think like FTW are less German than WiseWizards, so to speak. At least if I remember correctly, because
what do you mean by that?
WiseWizards, FTW have a Swedish person that's not even close to German.
They have a Swedish and Hungarian. Swedish and Hungarian, yeah. I thought there was some metaphor I didn't get, like something with their play style, so they're less German, or was it just a real statement? Like
that's a little bit of a contradiction, you know, because the less German, so to speak, of a team, if we're talking about the ethnicity, is actually winning on cash.
Yeah, I get your
But
point.
as you mentioned,
I get your point.
maybe
One
it
of
is
the
about
Germans
the
have to win,
in-game
right?
leader. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
I mean, that is one of the options we're seeing right now. Jin getting taken down already onto the V side. The options of WiseWizards are just getting, throughout the entire game, smaller, lower, and just pretty much close to non-existence. If FTW make it further like this, because when we take a look, WiseWizards have nearly no money. Their losing bonus goes also close to zero. And at this point, you just have to say, nice try, WiseWizards, but this half go massively, so massively to the board of FTW. I see at least something like a 12-2, a 12-3 at least.
Well, PDY, MXO, they are being hunted down slowly but surely, but then MP7's not so important to save up, I guess, so it's not gonna be so bitter to swallow when they actually lose. One guy right here, but apparently they're gonna stay alive, so that's good. It's definitely good for them, because they have, even if it is the tiniest chance to still fight for this one round in the first half, it's always something. You can never lose hope, right? Hope dies last, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it actually doesn't die last. What dies last is the last player in the round number 16 for the enemy team, technically speaking.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is pretty much true, because your hope dies already at one point where you don't want to play anymore. You see that very often at semi-pro teams, where the attitude is already pretty much down when such a scoreline is occurring. It's just up to MNL and his team to show that they're more than semi-pros who like to win, because you have to also accept sometimes that your fate doesn't look good, but you can still come back from it. And this is where WiseWizards has to show us that this is possible. But FTW is strong, it's consistent, what this lineup is doing. Mixer could make something crazy, but yeah, Point Duck comes in. And this is back to a 3 versus 4.
And even 2 people are looking at that angle. Sometimes nobody really bothers to check the boxes in the checkers, but they double that, and of course, pays out quite well. PDY all alone. I want to see how he retakes with that MP7. He actually jumps in. What the hell? And without a defuse kit, completely. Not expecting a ninja defuse to happen. Also not having any grenades, but I'm wondering what kind of an idea he had for this action.
I don't know. Things don't always have to make sense, but in this case, as we see it right now, WiseWizards are down at 10 points. Could we just go to 11 in a matter of seconds? But thankfully, and if you're a fan of those WiseWizards, you see that they have the advantage here of finally getting guns on the board. I mean, no head armor, no kit on... Oh, no one going with a kit. This is where it could be dramatic. I mean, one smoke less and one flashbang, and you could definitely go for that, but doesn't even matter. Spotter K finds Petty on the other side of the map. The Germans, the full German team, what shall they do in this kind of point of time? I mean, what is there to find in round number 15?
Something to make me believe. Or make themselves believe, because probably it doesn't matter what I think, actually, but these guys somehow have to pull themselves back up. But that's going to be a nice start, at least a kill out there. They don't have so bad positions, but I feel like FTW are very careful about what they're doing every single time, and they always are quick to react. Lando gets the first kill on reaction. Point Duck is about to go away a little bit further, but then he instantly flicks towards the other CT that was sitting on the bomb site. Now, Point Duck 1v2. Don't throw that molly just yet because it's a lot too early, but probably he wants to have that prepared for himself. But then on the other hand, if somebody runs straight at him, it would be better to have the weapon in his hands. There he goes for the molly.
This is dirty.
The thing is, I was actually looking at the clock and just counting.
Yeah, but the thing is, WiseWizards have no kit. And, oh, there it comes. Does he get the last one? This is the question. Oh, no.
Where's the knife? No, he even jumps over him. What? Come on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He missed the second
That music is so ironic. What shall I say to They're looking in their eyes and just like, how did you not do that? And their other one, I don't know. I have not the slightest bit of an idea. As we see 12-3 though. Something goes horribly wrong right now for those guys from WiseWizards. Their aggression might secure them at least that round, but it doesn't secure the victory. We're going to find out in the second half of our first game of today. 12-3 is the scoreline. The buy, not really that interesting onto WiseWizards because we see 2 utility players, so no full dedications with the kills.
I don't even know what to say about WiseWizards out here. They get another round for themselves finally, but then also it is a little bit lucky from them, or unlucky from FTW, or you can say that they are not skilled enough, or whatever you want to say. But I feel like in 2 out of 3 of this round, of the rounds that WiseWizards have, it went down to like the very last.
Oh, Lando,
bit.
look at that! Oh no, what is he doing? Where's shots going? Lando, Jesus Christ! How can you whiff that so badly? He had so many opportunities to go for some safe headshot. He whiffed the first one. Okay, maybe I go for a second. Whiffed the second one. Okay, maybe I go for it. Then it worked out. But Lando, Jesus Christ. What was that?
Maybe he just learned a little bit from Nevis from yesterday. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is going to be a pistol round for WiseWizards. They're going to be bouncing back a little bit. Is there a possibility for them to still lose when they get the rifles for themselves and they face off against the pistols? I don't know. That would be the last nail in the coffin. That would be FTW for real, proving that they're the real victors in this match. And not much would change, even with WiseWizards playing as a full team for the major part of the match. Anyway, though, now the interesting bit starts. WiseWizards might be actually waking up a little bit, because that's new hope. I mean, in that first half already they lost a lot of rounds due to being one man down. It was hard to build up the economy again because you had that awareness that the half is about to end already. But here they're starting fresh. You've got a pistol, you win the pistol, you have the advantage over the enemy. You don't have to like break down the entire 16k bank that's FTW at some point had. Maybe that's all that they've been waiting for. Maybe they didn't care about the CT side at all anymore, and they just thought what to do here on the T side.
Yeah, and look at that free man play on to B. Like you mentioned right now, it is sick that they do it like this. It is a big dedication, but A side seems to be more favorable at this point of time, as Jin already got a lot of control regarding the door zone, and it's just Robin Hood who will retreat back into the middle. No, it retreats actually over B, and this is a weird decision right now from that FTW player to not dedicate to middle, to not dedicate somewhere onto Chuck, because Butter K heard that open door, and now finally, now Robin Hood makes his way, and realization sets in. Okay, Highway A, can you please come over?
Okay, Robin Hood can get a headshot out there, but that's going to be just one. Then further on, Point Duck slightly tries to continue his heritage, but only the final remains, and he's left in a 1v3 with a bomb planted, with still some grenades remaining on WiseWizards. I'm holding on to good weaponry, and fine. Might have a possibility of finding something in the middle. So maybe that's yeah, what he's going for right now. There was an AK right in front of his face, but MX here also saw that AK. They were aware of one of their people dying with a very important weapon, and it was just part of the plan to wait for him, to bait him out with it.
Yeah, the bread and butter for WiseWizards right now is just finding as much as possible, see how off guard FTW plays, and define. Okay, that's an interesting invention of Zeus. Let's see how he can make it work. Finding that frag would already be pretty much one of the highlights of the day. No, gets denied. It was a nice try, you Swedish player, but the Germans, they're not really happy when you come in with something electrical. We have a situation where Robin Hood is on his own. FTW give it away once more, but that was expected with the buy they had on their own.
So 6 rounds for WiseWizards. It's half of what FTW have right now. Just deal with that full buy. They're getting much closer, and the possibility for real exists. It's maybe a little bit unbelievable that I'm saying that right now, but when you come back to like round number 7, 8, or when Jin actually came back, you can definitely hear that I said there is a possibility WiseWizards will obliterate FTW. But then it didn't look like that on the T side of FTW. But now I mentioned that maybe WiseWizards didn't care about that first half.
Maybe they didn't. That is the thing. Maybe they didn't. Let's take a look how FTW will approach this one. They finally have the guns on the board. No kit. It's a really confusing decision for me every time the players are deciding for that one. But they don't even want to allow WiseWizards to get that plan. They don't even want to allow them to find anything more than just bullets in their own head. 60 seconds are left. And that German team's rethinks and rethinks and rethinks how they will approach this. Because A side can be narrow and A side can be a suicidal mission, but we're going to find out as only two are standing there. Close range, especially Define, can do the major role in this one. Does not keep his patience, and this is where sometimes he is problematic. He only finds that one, and that was maybe not the smartest decision by the Swedish player.
And Robin Hood also could have brought down a couple more people right there. Or maybe not a couple, but could have gotten at least a double kill instead of one. Now, MNL is going to get an amazing frag on Lando that definitely makes the chances of FTW retaking the side much smaller, but the Butter K with a headshot on Jin. And now it's down to MNL and MXO. And we're talking about how Jin is going to be the most experienced guy out of WiseWizards. But this far, he doesn't get the chance to play for the major part of the map. And when he comes back, he doesn't frag at all still. But it's going to be the retake. It's going to be FTW actually not making it because Point Out doesn't have a defuse kit. I think so too.
Could have made that. Because I think there was just the music starting, you know, the diffusing music. At this point in time where you see that there was the diffuser already on the bomb. So it's a tough decision. I mean, it's understandable that he runs away. The flashlight?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, there was a little bug in 1.6 where he, like, playing with a flashlight made it, like, 0.1 second faster to defuse the bomb. In Counter-Strike Go, I think people said that switching weapons did that too. And I'm not too sure if this is just urban legends, you know.
It's urban legend. I'm quite sure it is the same for every game because it feels faster, I guess. You know, when you do that, it feels like, oh my god, I'm diffusing faster. But what kind of sense would that be? I mean, Slavsgrad and Freakling Philip would be that already in 2 seconds when they find out. Look at that spray through the wall here from Jin. That is massive damage being dealt onto one of the MVPs of FTW. Point Duck gets taken down in the end, and Jin even finds him through that door. That is horrific, and that gives the fully German team a good advantage to go into the 8th without a problem.
So, bomb side A take. Seems like this is going to be the story of the bigger part of this second half. As many times WiseWizards decide to go for that bomb side A. Though this far it didn't work out for them once already. Or actually, well, hard to really judge if it did or didn't because of FTW possibly throwing that round a little bit with there still being a chance to defuse the bomb, excuse me. And yeah, time's just ticking. Robin Hood and Lando. Sometimes FTW could be saving up much better weapons, but they did not decide to do that. And now they're just going to try to hold on to a CZ with a Kevlar with no helmets, no grenades, and a deagle for Lando. So, not too sure if I'm happy with what they're doing now. But anyway, WiseWizards are getting closer, so maybe that's the realization kicking in for FTW. Hey guys, we can actually lose that game, so maybe let's start playing a little bit more carefully.
That needs to set in very soon, because otherwise there might be a big problem for those guys from FTW Esports. The Portuguese organizations with teams, with players from all around Europe now need to show that this first half was not just a joke, that this first half was not only for the memes. I mean, we were back at a 12-3. Now WiseWizards got 5 consecutively in a row. Maybe that aggression is all they need. Maybe they're that kind of team like Big that rather attacks than defends. 125 left on the clock. Flashbang is coming in from Lando. Tries to hit something that stands there in front of B. And Patty is smart enough to not go for it too aggressively, because that entry could have helped out FTW too badly.
Let's see. This is going to be such a key round to the outcome of the entire map, but then on the other hand, could not so very much be. WiseWizards, even if they lose this one, even if they get surprised by the double op setup, there's a possibility to figure out how to beat it in the next round, and that could be the economy reset for FTW. Could be even worse, right? So let's go. Reaction is gonna probably get a grenade right there from one of his teammates, a little bit of a flashbang or something, and then the action is gonna start. Or is it going to be something different?
Yeah.
Because everybody started rotating over to B. They were just a second ago sitting up close to middle. And it looked like they wanted to take that middle. But with the timer running out, it's definitely a better idea to just take a site directly. Now the mollies are flying in. It's going to be a good flashbang from Robin Hood to just delay them a little bit longer. But there's reaction indeed. Well, the flash is where he's signaled to go. But just take a look at FTW.
No time, no chance. That is it. Lando finished him off, and in this moment, yeah, look, Lando with a quad, and that was just the wrong decision from those guys from WiseWizards to count. I mean, they should have sticked to their final and first plan, but in the end, it was the B side they were choosing, and not successful at all. WiseWizards have to realize FTW is back on a goodbye. FTW is on a double op setup, and now it will get tricky for them. Only 3 more this counter-terrorist team needs to pick up.
So, MNL, the first. That's gonna make it a lot easier to this time run into one of the sites. This time they're not gonna have to be so stressed about the time also. So when WiseWizards can relax, can take their time, maybe there's a possibility they will win this round. And as I mentioned, there's a huge chance these guys will know how to figure out the double AWP setup, and already they're burning a lot of the places on that bomb site A. But they also burned a lot of spots on bomb site B in the previous round, and that didn't help at all. Define, though, doing so well with the 5-7, down to 18 HP, but he's gotten a triple kill already.
Shot!
Wow.
That was beautiful. MNL thinks that he can make it, and then somehow it just turns out to be true. It is only 2 more he needs to find, but Lando is ready for it. 14-8. But I give him style points for that shot. That was really, really beautiful to watch. And replay should be just about that. And take a look at beautiful. I give 9. I give 9 out of 10.
9
or 5 out of 7. I don't know. 9.5 is a simple double kill on Cash jumping down on A site. That is 9.5. 10 is cold 0. So sure about the 9.5?
I don't know. I mean, after all, the spray is after simple, right? So okay, never mind. I'm gonna go for that.
It's a harsh scale. Yeah,
I'm gonna go for the 8.5.
Thank you very much. Good.
Why do you always have to like put me in the wrong?
I don't know. It's a thing of mine. You know, I don't even know. Maybe it's compensation for my own mistakes. Maybe it's a bad childhood. Maybe it's alcoholism. I don't know. I don't know yet, but you can find out in the next episode of ELC Casters talking about their deep, true problems. But what's more a deep, true problem is right now WiseWizards not getting anything done because they're 1 player less. They only have 50 seconds and no real control of any of the sites. They're trying to take mid. Highway could be a good possibility at this point. But the question is, when will Point Duck come around the corner?
MNL with that UMP. I don't see him helping too much, and that's going to be actually a reaction going down real quickly, but then Define does not hold down the angle for too long, and that's a little bit of a mistake. That's going to open up the possibilities for WiseWizards, and MNL was supposed to lead the enemies closer if he wanted to get the kill with the UMP-45, but instead, he started shooting early when they still could win with the distance advantage. And with the rifles being much stronger in that situation. Lando does not hit the first shot, which would have been really impressive, but then gets the other, making it a little bit easier, making it look a little bit more simple. But 15-8 is what matters the most right here. And the one-man disadvantage might have been what has done with WiseWizards in this round.
Yeah, and good luck to WiseWizards in this one. Just good luck to find anything, because that equipment from FTW just says a lot, and for some reason, why is Lando only playing a Deagle if one of his mates, if Buttercake, could have bought him that M4? That doesn't entirely make sense to me, but what looks good right now for those guys from WiseWizards is how they fastly try to come onto this, but Robin Hood is there. He saves FTW from the bad attitude WiseWizards is giving away, because he's a saver for them, and there comes the first. Lando with a second, but that is only the one onto the leg. Grenade raining in.
Interesting, though. He still made definitely quite good work with what he had, with the resources that he had for this round. And Jin, very low on health himself. He just nuked down Lando with the HE, and he might end up in the same way. And yeah, the HE has gone there, and the Molly has gone there, but both of them were not able to reach him. And then he just receives a bullet from Buttercake's P250. And I was worried about this guy actually only holding onto a pistol, while the other two had the rifles, but he was the more aggressive one, so I thought that maybe, yeah, he's got a lure for the info, but he might as well be the guy that finishes both of them off. Just take a look at that. MNL, okay. Yeah, he gets killed by Buttercake. He looked away at the worst possible moment, but then was able to recover, and that's 16-8. And
that's 16-8.
I feel like FTW deserved it because they played pretty well, but I also feel like if it was a full game, WiseWizards would still be the victors. So the disconnects have helped, definitely in a major part, but it's not like FTW would get demolished by the lineup of WiseWizards Academy if that disconnect would not have happened.
I see it differently. I see it a little bit like that, or I see it kind of similar, actually, because it is a little bit like you have two sprinters, right? Two people sprinting, and one just has a problem with his leg. He tries, he goes for it, but he will lose anyway because he's one less, 4 versus 5, and this is where it just gets a little problematic. It's unfortunate. It's sad. It's sad in the end. If it would have been made a change, I don't know. There was a lot of rounds where they didn't have their 5th player on, but anyway, we're seeing FTW going into the upper brackets, and they will play either against Zoctai, the Norwegian squad, or Gameplay DNA, the experienced and regular practicing Lithuanian team. We're going to find out about that very, very soon, because the map picks are going to be done as well in just a bit, and that little bit should give them the possibility to see how it will go.